So, John, if you needed to cross-dress to see your loved ones, what would you look like and what would you be called?
What would I look like? I think, conservative, but a little bit sexy, maybe a little flash of fire here and there. I don't know, I mean, I think I'd go full redhead. So maybe I'd go for like a Rita Hayworth kind of look, or a Julianne Moore kind of look.
Okay, yeah.
Julianne Moore in The Big Lebowski.
Yes.
I'd go for that,
sure.
like that aggressive Edna Mode bob, and yeah, I'd speak in very clipped tones. Talk about doctors that are very thorough, and so I'd go for like a dominatrix, Mrs Doubtfire.
Okay, and your name?
Oh, well, he came up with his name on the fly just by
looking at a newspaper.
I'd newspaper, but like things he could see.
Peroni Nastro.
I'd have to put on a real Italian accent.
What else can you see here? Dettol.
No, Mrs.
Danny Touch.
Russell Hobbs.
Yeah.
Danny Minogue.
Mrs. Danny Minogue. Well, that's taken, but sure. Yeah. I don't know, Mrs. MacBook Chubby Welsh. I don't know.
Whoa. Oh, that's a bit mean. My MacBook's not chubby. It's really thin.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome everybody to Beyond the Box Set, podcast where we pitch prequels, sequels and spin-offs to films that don't have any. I'm Harry, joining me as always is John.
Hello.
And a guest this week, Lauren.
Hello.
Now, Lauren, you've picked Mrs Doubtfire.
I have.
But before we start pitching sequels or even talking about the film, John, you had a bit of an accent with a fish this week. I just wanted to get brought up in the podcast.
Well, that's a nice way of setting that one up. I had an accident with a fish.
Yeah, I'm the king of segues.
Well, you and I were both away this past weekend at your brother's stag weekend. We were camping out in the Oxfordshire wilderness.
Yeah. It was the wilderness, wasn't it?
It really was, yeah, the sticks. But we had a good time. It was all good fun.
Why'd you take your fish?
The fish... the fish wasn't with me. I'm a very possessive fisher, No, I left the fish at home. But while we were there, we went for a walk to a country pub. And one of our friends, who should remain nameless, was a little bit too drunk and wasn't particularly aware of his surroundings, and he was walking directly ahead of me. So he walked through a bunch of branches and basically sent a tree branch ricocheting directly into my eye, and it hurt quite a lot. But I powered through. I was like, I didn't want to spoil the party. And to be fair, I kind of forgot about it. It kind of hurt at the moment, then I forgot about it. Finished the weekend, had a great time. The next day we get home to Leeds, and it's getting to the fish. We get home to Leeds, and my eye starts to really, really hurt. And it gets progressively more and more swollen and more painful, to the point where I couldn't really look at anything. I was in a really bad way, feeling quite miserable. So all I could do was close my eyes, and it's like early afternoon at this point. So I kind of closed my eyes, lay down on the sofa, and just had a bit of a nap. And before I did that, because I just got home from like a weekend away, I looked at my goldfish, Bifinda Carlisle and Gil Scott Heron, and they'd not been fed since I had been away, which is fine. Fish can last like a week while being fed, it's not a problem. But I kind of looked at them, and they were both kind of looking at me, kind of like, feed us, feed us. I remember thinking distinctly, I should feed them, but I'm so tired, I'm in so much pain, I'll do it when I wake up. Anyway, so then I fell asleep. Now, Gil Scott Heron has a habit of...
Gil Scott Heron, by the way, is the fish you've replaced.
Place Jones, the last one who passed away, yeah. Mm-hmm. But Gil Scott Heron, when he wants to be fed, he had a habit of kind of breaking the water to kind of get my attention. And so I fell asleep to the sight of him kind of half doing that.
You slept on your sofa, right?
I slept on the sofa, yeah, because that's the thing, he could see me. So,
the amount of anthropomorphizing that you're doing is amazing.
I swear to God, he can see me.
He brings the water to get my attention. I don't even think my dog does that.
Is your dog in a fish tank? First of all, your dog is huge, so
it's a massive fish tank. We have a shark tank for him.
But yeah, so I woke up a few hours later, feeling no better, and Gil Scott Heron had jumped out of the tank and died. And I was so upset. I'm not that emotionally invested in goldfish, so normally it would be like, oh, that's a shame. But because I was like feeling ill, and then I felt really guilty. I felt like if I only had fed them, so I was just like, oh, this is the worst day ever. And then, yeah.
Your goldfish committed suicide.
My goldfish essentially committed suicide.
Like a really needy girlfriend.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
And can I ask, where is this poor goldfish now?
Gil Scott Heron has joined Place Jones in my little makeshift funeral garden.
It's a mass grave now, John.
I don't think two counts. It's hardly Auschwitz. We're talking two fish.
Well, it's a shared grave, at least.
It's a shared grave, yeah. It's a shared goldfish grave.
You couldn't even be asked to get another plant pot for your
Your grave is not
fish.
Auschwitz, it's your fishbowl that's Auschwitz.
Yeah. True. Oh, God. Yeah, it's outside in the plant pot where Place Jones was also buried. So
I would just throw them off your balcony into
Yeah,
the
exactly.
canal.
It's got a canal right there.
You've got a canal.
Yeah.
But instead you bring up dirt into your balcony just to make
I know I have
plant
plant pots anyway. It's just, it's circle of life. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but now there's two of them in there. Like, at some point, the ratio is going to slip between soil and fish.
True. At that point, we'll reconsider. Maybe
another plant pot.
Maybe I'll repot. Yeah.
Repot.
Yeah.
Just move your mass grave into a bigger pot.
Yeah, it's like when you planted a tree. You got to let the roots grow. Yeah.
Just like real graveyards.
So, are you going to get any fish?
Yes, because I think.
No! This is animal abuse. You can't get it.
Hey, Befinda Carlisle is like 5 now. She's doing. It's just unfortunate. We've had 2 unfortunate deaths in a short space of time.
Less than a year.
In less than a year, yeah. It's not.
Well, maybe she's the problem.
Maybe she pushed. Yeah. Maybe Gil Scott Heron didn't fall. He was pushed. But yes,
She's like, get me some food.
Yeah.
Or I'll slap you with my tail.
I need to get John's attention somehow. I'll throw this.
But yeah, I will probably at some point invest in another goldfish this week, and you have.
Well, I was thinking actually, rather than my idea, why not put it to the fans to?
Oh, okay, sure. So Harry's idea was the next one because it has to be a pun based on a celebrity name. So Befinda Carlisle, Place Jones, Gil Scott Heron. So Harry suggested the next one might be called Goldie Hawn.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Then you know.
If you can do better than Goldie Hawn in terms of celebrity fish pun names, write in on Twitter or Facebook. Let us know, and you might well be able to name my next goldfish.
What have you changed on Goldie Hawn?
Sorry?
You haven't changed anything, though.
No, that's the thing. It's just...
okay.
Well, Gil Scott Heron's still Gil Scott Heron.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
It's a jazz musician, I think.
Okay.
You think? Do you know who this is?
I know your brother used to listen to him a lot, that's all.
Okay,
so I'm assuming some kind of jazz
Right.
wanker, yeah.
Lovely. Yeah. All right, Mrs Doubtfire, without any further ado.
Yes.
So, Lauren, why did you pick the film? Good choice, I must say.
Yes.
Excellent choice, yes.
Wait, I really do love the film. And it does have, like, special resonance with me because I grew up just north of San Francisco. And it was odd because, like, when I was watching it, it felt like they made it just for people that lived in San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
To me, it felt like there's some things you wouldn't be able to get unless you've been in San Francisco.
Such as?
Just kind of like the way that the streets worked. They never really mentioned that they're in San Francisco. Maybe it just felt like a personal touch directed at me or us.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, then like, you can easily just go to the house and it's owned by normal rich people.
Do you know these people?
No, like, I mean, sure, some people know them, but nobody that knocks on their door seems to know them. So they just open the door, and then the person who answers goes, "Well, hello!" And I'm sure they get that a lot, as I've done that.
You've done it.
Yeah.
That must have driven down the property value.
So, but the house is on TripAdvisor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was looking it up.
So it is a tourist location.
It is a tourist location, but it's like 3 stars. It's just a house.
3 stars.
Great review. Just a house.
Yeah, it's just a house. And then it was like, some people were just like, oh, it was great to see the location of where one of our favorite films is. And it's like, but they make it sound like you could go in and tour around. You can't. To live in that area, in the Fillmore... It's on Fillmore Street. I forget what actual area it's considered. It would cost you several $1 million to just get the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you first see this film, Harry?
A few years ago, so I still vaguely remembered it, and then obviously this last week as well.
So you saw it as an adult then, not as a child?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Along with most child films.
True, yeah.
Did you watch films when you were a child?
Yeah.
Only adult films.
No,
though.
you were just
only adult.
Only like Sunshine, and Dom Hemingway, and really appropriate films for children. Yeah,
Yeah, I've done it the wrong way around.
Yeah. It's a bit creepy how you've done it, actually.
Yeah. Next week, Dumbo.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it as a child, and it's just one of those like definitive childhood films. I think it's like it's just so. I don't know. I never thought of it as like being one of my favourite films, but watching it back this week, I was like, this might be definitely one of my nostalgic favourite childhood films. It's just so likeable and fun, and because I feel like Robin Williams films kind of really walk the line between like the sentimentality and the entertainment value, and sometimes it really works. Like with this one, it really works. With Aladdin, obviously, it really, really works.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get stuff like Toys and Jack that just don't work so much. Like they just fall, or Patch Adams that just really fall off the cliff into the too much of Robin Williams.
I could never watch Patch Adams again, but I could watch Toys again. Because, I mean, it's just bizarre and it doesn't make any sense. But it's like bright colours that makes you happy, and then LL Cool J blends into the background.
Sure.
But sorry, we're talking about Mrs Doubtfire. But yeah, no, it's because like a lot of people say about Robin Williams is that like despite him always being really funny and able to improvise, he brought this true sense of like melancholy to all of his roles.
Oh yeah.
And it's probably because of how his disposition was. And I think that played along really well with his role of this father who just wants to love and be loved by his kids and doesn't think about anything else. And when it dawns on him, oh, you actually have to work. It's a very interesting movie as a person who's starting to be a social worker right now as well.
I definitely wanted to dig in a little bit about how it depicts like divorce and like, because I think it's very, it's not realistic obviously in terms of what he does, but like it gets quite real in certain places. Like it doesn't just have a happy tie up with a bow ending where they get back together and everything's happy ever after. It really is at its heart a film about a family negotiating the emotional pitfalls of a divorce.
Well, it's like they like a lot of like people who are going through therapy and like they're like, your kids should watch Mrs Doubtfire. Or like at least they did in the 90s. And people are just like, oh yeah, they showed me Mrs Doubtfire, so I knew my parents were getting a divorce.
That's how they told you. So this is going to be
we got a movie
now,
for you. And by the way, no, Dad's not going to start dressing up like a woman.
Try to do something fun, you have to do it 10 times bigger. I bring home a birthday cake and a few gifts. You bring home the goddamn San Diego Zoo and I have to clean up after.
Oh, I'm sorry, but it's not toxic waste, it's a few party plates,
Why am I the only one that feels there has to be rules?
Oh.
Why do you always make me out to be the heavy?
Oh, I don't make you out to be anything. You do it yourself, quite naturally,
You set
Miranda.
me up, Daniel, every time.
Oh, I
to be
don't
a
set
bad
you.
guy.
Oh, lighten up, will you? Just realize you're spending too much time with those corporate clones you used to despise.
I spend too much time with you, Daniel. It's over. It's over.
I guess to kind of whiz through the plot, we open with him kind of playing the role he's born to play as a voiceover artist, which is kind of a thinly veiled excuse to open with Robin Williams doing again. He's literally singing opera and doing this whole thing. And then he gets fired from that job when he goes to meet his kids.
No, he quits.
He quits out of principle because he apparently hasn't read the script before attending that day, and he's like shocked at the smoking.
He just thought like, you know what? I'm going to go in there and just change everything, even though they've already
drawn it.
But it's like I was thinking that I should like have listened to the actual song that he was singing, because I'm pretty sure at like one point, I don't know if he was like going Figaro Jew, Figaro A.
Really?
And I was like, he's really emphasizing Jew a lot. And I was like, I don't know if that's how it sounds. I don't know what it means in, I guess, Italian, but
I have to go back to that. I missed that point. He quits that job and then he goes to meet his kids after school. So the kids, there's the oldest daughter with the aggressively long ponytail, very 90s. There's Matthew Lawrence, star of every teen American TV thing of the 90s ever. And it's little Mari Wilson. Little adorable Mari Wilson. And it's the boy's birthday. It's his 12th birthday. And didn't he say something like, what have you got me, Dad? Strippers?
Yeah. And he's like, no. And he's like, oh, 2 strippers.
2 strippers? It's like, calm down.
He's like, that's my boy.
Yeah, exactly.
What strange humour they have in that
They
film.
do have a weird dynamic. But this is the thing, so this is leading up to the petting zoo party outside the house. But it's like, presumably he didn't expect to quit his job that day. Unless he was just going in thinking, I'm just going to go in and make a stand and then leave early and then I'm going to meet my kids. He manages to arrange a full petting zoo on the fly very quickly.
Also, where does he get those animals from?
I did not see an animal handler. I didn't see any health and safety.
No, well, that's why the police were there, because they were just like, well, something's going on here that's not okay.
Yeah, sure.
There are some farms just north of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, really?
That would probably have some animals for petting.
Probably.
Yeah, but like, on loan?
On loan? Yeah, I don't know.
Can we borrow like 2 horses, a goat, like 5 chickens, a rabbit, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, sure, great, take them."
There's no way they got all of those animals back.
No.
Like,
then they just go inside and leave the animals there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's just like, we're done with this part. Let's go dance on the table and leave the animals outside.
At this point, I'm totally with Sally Field.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I had so much sympathy for Sally Field in this film.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that you have to go way over he has to go way over the top if you decide to not like Robin Williams.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like, what's the worst that he could do? This is it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think
or Patch Adams.
Absolutely, yeah. And I do think the casting in this is key to the film working, because I think in both of them, I think anyone but Robin Williams and the character would have just come across as this monster.
Yeah.
And Sally Field is really doing the Lord's work in this film, I think, because that character could so easily have just been like the bitch mom.
Yeah.
But she really does make you A, empathise with her position, and B, like her because she's Sally Field and she's funny. She does great reactions.
Yes.
She does so many fabulous reactions. So she gets a phone call at the office with her businesswoman of the 90s helmet hair, and she I love that hair. And she comes to the party and she sees that her house is just like a complete tip. What does she say? Like, you ate my begonias.
Yeah.
You ate my begonias. She's very angry, understandable. She pulls the plug on the party, and then they have this huge fight, and she tells him that she wants a divorce. Which, fair enough. So then he goes to stay with his brother, who was my favourite character, Harvey Fierstein.
Oh, yes.
Loved him. I loved how they're brothers, yet they have entirely different accents.
Yeah.
And look nothing alike.
Well, one's younger, grew up in a different area.
Yeah. Because Harvey Fierstein's doing this kind of like New York, kind of Italian, kind of more Sicilian kind of vibe.
I don't think he could do any other accent.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that just him?
I don't think, I love Harvey Fierstein's voice, but I'm guessing that's the only voice he's capable of doing, because it's very distinct.
I was thinking at that time, just thought, well, what are these people can do essentially any voice in the world? And this other guy, he's clearly stuck in the one voice. Like,
imagine if Harvey Fierstein's voice had been Robin Williams' like natural voice for the entire film. He just matched that voice.
Well, I mean, Impressionists, there is occurrences where Impressionists just forget their original identity, and then they just get lost in something else. So maybe Robin Williams just got lost in what we now know as Robin Williams.
Sure.
He just got lost in Mork.
Yeah. He just got lost in one of his impressions. Like his original, like he was born as sounding the same as Harvey
Fierstein.
Fierstein,
I would love that.
Yeah, me too.
So he was great, and I have to talk about his Harvey Fierstein's outfit. I don't even remember his outfit in this scene, but I was very impressed with it. He's wearing like a black sleeveless hoodie with like a white dress shirt underneath, with like hand-drawn doodles of what appears to be Bart Simpson's face all up and down his sleeves.
I did not notice.
It is such a look. And then he's got his partner Aunt Jack, which I wasn't 100% keen on, but fine. Yeah. It's like, Uncle Matthew and Aunt Jack. It's like, why is he Aunt? But whatever. Who just is always wearing a kimono for no reason.
Yeah.
But they seem fun and are not in the movie enough.
No, we're taking good care of your little boy. Don't worry, Mom.
Hi, Evelyn. Thanks for the jam.
She says you're welcome. Oh, I don't know. That beige concealer, do you know when we get more of it?
Next week.
You hear that, Ma? Next week. Wait, hang on. Enough already. It's a man.
How would you know?
Bitch. No, Ma, not you. I was talking about the dog.
Sally Field sues for full custody of the children, which again I wasn't clear on why.
Yeah, she didn't need full custody. Like, she felt like she was being very, what's the word, is reasonable with
up until that point,
with everything. Yeah,
and it felt like an amicable. Even though he didn't want to get divorced, it wasn't like you're abusive or you've had an affair or I'm super mad at you.
Yeah, it wasn't like he hadn't done anything wrong.
Not especially. It was like the marriage was
massively. Yeah, it was just like, you're going in one direction with your life, I'm going in another. We're just kind of doing that, but there's nothing wrong with you and the kids.
Yeah.
But the fact that she takes that away from him was, well, I guess that's just the motivation.
It needs to happen for the plot to happen, but again, it's a real testament to Sally Field's inherent likability that at this point you're not just like, well, fuck you, because it's like it could easily have just been this vindictive bitch. But again, you kind of do. Also,
I didn't fully get that was her intention through a lot of it. Like in the court scenes, I think there's 2 major court scenes. In the first one, she didn't look like that was her intention. Like because her lawyer or attorney or whatever was like, oh yeah, great, we did it, and then Sally Field is just a little bit unhappy about the whole thing.
Yeah, she looks conflicted. Yeah,
as though like, I didn't want the judge to make that decision.
Sure,
like, that's a bit much. That's That's too much. And then obviously in the second court scene near the end of the film, like, she looks super bad, super guilty. Like, she's just, okay, I've really messed up this time.
Yeah.
Obviously, Robin Williams is breaking down on the other side.
Yeah. But yeah, it's plot mechanics, because you have to sue for full custody. They could have come to a more amicable agreement. But
Yeah, maybe he wanted... I don't know if they talked about it. Did he want full custody?
No, they never really established that. It's more like he just... Yeah, it seems like shared, like, joint custody would have been... I don't know, maybe she wanted to keep a consistent,
It was plot point anyway,
It was total plot mechanics,
yeah.
It is a dwell in it. But so she gets full custody, and he has like 3 months to kind of turn things around. Well, until then, he only has like 1 day visitation.
Yeah.
A week, is it? Mm-hmm. Once a week, so which is not enough for him. And he's really struggling with this. Oh, and we get the really sad departure on the doorstep. So upsetting. Mara Wilson, my God. I mean, we did Matilda recently. Mm-hmm. She is just too much. Like, she makes my ovaries hurt.
Yeah.
Like, she's just...
like, but it's just to the point where it's so consistent that I was almost convinced that really she's a little person that's a really good actor.
No, I think she is.
So, but she's not. She grew up into into a normal.
Like, you mean she does?
Like, I thought it was like a little person, like
pretending to be a child,
pretending to be a child, like they did in the 80s a lot.
Sure, yeah.
So, it's like, because it's just like, it's such a consistent performance, and apparently she ad-libbed some lines.
Yeah, I read that too. Yeah. Like the princess line, she ad-libbed that.
Apparently. Oh God.
Yeah. She's just adorable. But there's a bit.
There's no other word to describe her.
She made my heart hurt. There's a bit where she goes, "You can't leave. We're still reading Charlotte's Web." And I was like, "Oh no."
I think the bit that got me was when he joked about their mother having like a disease or something.
Oh yes!
And then they had to explain the disease, and she was like, "But Daddy, why would you wish Mummy was dead?" And I was like, "Oh my God,
you want me to die?"
It's that slight lisp she does.
Yeah.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Can't go now.
You have to.
We're right in the middle of Charlotte's Web. Who's gonna finish it?
Well, Grandma will finish it for you.
She's not as good. She always skips parts, and she never does the voices. She smells funny, too.
That's the formaldehyde. That's why Granny's so well preserved.
But yeah, then he has to meet his court liaison officer as the older lady. And this is the first of many occasions when the film just kind of stops so that Robin Williams can just go off on one and do all his voice things. Mm-hmm. There's a very long montage.
I loved it.
It was fun. But
you know I love a montage.
I know you do. At this point, I was just imagining like the filming process. I imagine like the cast and like the director and the cinematographer, and just like
I think it was pretty much just like, okay, everybody just take lunch.
Yeah.
Robin and camera guy, you're gonna no, camera's on a tripod. Yeah. Robin, you just go for it.
Smash cuts like 4 hours later. Yeah. Guys, he's still going. He's still going. And I like how it just ends with the woman going, "Mr. Hiller, do you consider yourself humorous?" Well, I did. But meanwhile, Sally Field is moving on very quickly with Pierce Brosnan, a very young, very orange-looking Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah,
who I felt was poorly written in this film. I feel like he should have been much more of a villain. Because he wasn't. He didn't really do anything wrong, other than at one point called Robin Williams a loser.
Yeah, but I don't think he's written as a villain. I think that's the thing. This film takes quite a mature look at what a divorce might look like. It would be very easy to make him like a cartoon villain and Robin Williams' character the good guy. I think it actually works that he's actually just a nice guy who... Yeah.
I mean, it is an American film and he's British,
so he's inherently
already
evil,
a villain.
That's true. So deep down,
Yeah, so we already know.
He's a Bond villain.
Yeah.
So while she's on the date with him, the kids are at Robin Williams' house and the flat's a mess and he's feeding them out of takeaway things. And then Sally Field comes to pick them up. And when she walked into the flat, I love this bit because as soon as she walked in, I was like, is anyone going to acknowledge what she's wearing? Because she's wearing...
Oh, she's wearing like a poncho or something.
This weird like rainbow poncho, like just tied. And I was like, are we acknowledging this? And then he does.
That's like, but see, that's the thing though. When I'm thinking about it now, that's kind of a motif like middle-aged women get into when they're like trying to like have a new turn in their life.
Sure.
They go Southwestern style.
Yeah.
It's accessible and it's also different, but not too out there.
Yeah.
But it's a bit itchy, so it doesn't last long.
So. It was well observed. I was very happy when Robin Williams said, "Oh, I'm liking your Dances with Wolves motif." But that's when he discovers that she's advertising for a nanny. And he immediately loses any chance of getting the job when little Mario Wilson swears at her mum because he said, "Well, his goddamn kids too." So he changes the number on the advertising thing, and then he starts tormenting her with some phone calls.
I want to know whose number he changed it to.
Yeah, somebody's just able to, like, very legitimate.
That'll be annoying for them.
Yeah. But at this point in the film, I was thinking, like, she knows that she's been married for like 20 years to a voiceover artist, right? So, she knows he does voices. And suddenly she's getting calls from all these crazy individuals who just seem bizarrely cartoonish. But she doesn't suspect a thing.
San Francisco has so many characters.
True, yeah.
So
Fair enough.
it's all right.
At this point, there was one joke that has not aged terribly well. The slightly transphobic joke when it's like...
I used to be a man.
I used to be a man, and she's like, yikes.
Because I used to be one, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that wouldn't play well today, but, yeah.
Which is weird, wouldn't have got a transgender character in this anyway. Like Auntie Jack or whatever it was.
But Auntie Jack's not... That's the thing.
Not transgender, he's just a
gay man. It's just two gay men, one of them has to be the woman, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
That's less fun.
Yeah. I mean, it was 1993. The fact that they had those characters in a family film was already going to be... And, like, it was probably really hard for parts of the country to digest.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So you have to make it accessible. It's not the best thing that holds up, but...
No, but I think the film has its heart in the right place. Just certain jokes wouldn't really play well today, but I don't think any of them... None of them are like, oh, yikes, this is really bad. It's more just like, it means well. It's not punching downwards, so it's fine, but yeah. But yeah, he ends up with the... He lands on the Mrs Doubtfire character, and then he goes to... We go back to Harvey Fierstein and Auntie Jack, or whatever she's called. Because... What is their job, do you think? Are they just like makeup artists?
They're makeup artists.
They're makeup artists.
For like films and...
The dresser looks like it's the stuff of a horror movie because it's all like faces and claws and monsters.
Heads.
Oh, I just have a new idea for a prequel.
But this is one of my favourite scenes. And it is, again, it's just an excuse for Robin Williams to just stop the film and do all his celebrity impersonations.
But with prosthetics.
Yeah.
Though. So it couldn't have all been ad-libbed at that point. Like, you need to say in advance, okay, I want to do Barbra Streisand.
Yes.
And then, like, 5 hours later...
That's what I mean.
Or like,
how long were they doing this?
A week or two later, okay, we've got Barbra Streisand ready. Who's next?
I need to order in some equipment, get some new wigs. They just have all this lying around. They're gay men. They just have Streisand wigs lying around.
Yeah. Do you not? Where's yours?
Yeah.
But so in this scene is one of the things that don't hold up in general about Robin Williams is his eagerness to impersonate Hispanic and Black people.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So, but at the same time, you see in this scene that he would make an amazing drag queen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Which was your favourite celebrity impression he did?
I did like the Streisand one. I liked the first one because it was like, on what planet was this look going to match the voice that you've already done for the character?
Yeah.
Clearly, you know.
That was...
Also, how does that look like the sort of person you're going to get to look after your kids?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just
like, surely you just go straight for the Mrs Doubtfire look.
Not by way of an Eastern European prostitute. Yeah.
Well, I just love how they like go all the way out just to try things out. Let's put the nails on and paint them red as well.
I mean, also, like, Harvey Fierstein's reaction to when Robin Williams is like, right, I need this. He's like, oh my god, finally, I get to do whatever I want to you.
Yeah.
And so that's when they're just like, okay, we're gonna do Streisand, we're gonna do whatever that is, we're gonna do everything I've wanted to do for my whole life.
Oh yeah, he's in his element. He's absolutely in his element.
I feel like he's been waiting like upwards of 30 years
finally,
to do this to his brother.
Finally, my family's taking interest in what I do.
Yeah, that's what he says. Oh honey, I'm so happy.
It's not working. I need to go older.
Older? You mean like Shelley Winters older or Shirley MacLaine older?
What's the difference?
Some Scotch tape and red hair dye.
What about Joan Collins?
Oh, I don't think I have the strength.
All right.
So then he goes to meet the family, and of course they don't clock a thing. And it's funny, like, she kind of, for me, seems like she's a bit of a judgmental old bitch, but they seem very charmed by it.
Who, Mrs Doubtfire?
Mrs Doubtfire, yeah, she's very judgmental.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But
well, most of her judgmental qualities come out when she's talking about Pierce Brosnan.
Well, yes, more so definitely. She gets very passive aggressive with him.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just like compliments about the house. They're just like, oh, your husband must have been great when he was around and stuff like that. Which I did enjoy.
Yes. But yeah, and
but so also actually that's when he takes the opportunity to compliment her on all the things that I guess he never did when he was just Robin Williams. Just like, oh wow, all the labels in the kitchen, that's amazing, and stuff like that. Kind of like a second chance at being a husband.
Oh no, I thought that was like he was pointing out the things that annoyed him when they were
Oh, really?
married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, look at you with your little labels on everything. Isn't that sweet?
Okay, you put that in a whole new light for me.
He really seems to vacillate between like wanting Sally Field back and like really resenting her.
I think that's divorce.
That's probably his divorce.
And breaking up with people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to be fair, yeah.
I want you back, but I hate you so much.
Oh, let's see. Oh, what a perfectly appointed little cubby. Look at this. Everything has its place and name tag. How precise. It's lovely.
My husband never appreciated it.
Oh, poor dote. That's not the reason you divorced him, was it?
And then we get the cake scene, which is just absurd, just delightfully absurd.
Oh, yes.
When he goes back to the flat and he has to play his own sister and brother.
Yes.
And he really makes a rod for his own back by like constantly jumping between the two personalities.
Which he does twice in the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, so twice in the film, he has like a very like a go-to sitcom premise.
Yes.
Where I have to be two people in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
How will this turn out? Tune in next time to whatever sitcom is really typical these days.
Yeah. So the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Two broke
Sheldon
girls.
has two dates.
Yeah.
They're both Robin Williams.
Oh, I'd watch that.
God, that'd be weird.
But I mean, that's one of the scenes I remember the most from childhood, though. Just with her with the cake on her face and like the cake mix just dripping into the woman's tea, and she's just like hysterically ad-libbing through the whole experience. Just
Yeah.
like,
And then she takes the thing off the tea and then
wipes
rubs
it.
her face.
Yes.
Yeah. And goes, oh, yes, that's nice. It would dry your skin. It really would. Dairy and sugar, not good on the skin.
Yeah.
Why does he have that cake in his fridge?
Yeah, I was wondering that as well. Because there is a slice taken out of it, so he's not saving it for anybody. Like, it's for himself.
But that's like a depression cake.
It is, isn't it?
Usually just go get like one from the freezer at the grocery store. You don't go to the most expensive bakery, especially when you've just gotten a divorce and you're in like, actually that apartment would cost a lot of money in San Francisco. But like, yeah.
Look, he's newly divorced. He's depressed. He's probably eating one of those cakes every night. So he's just,
But why did he take one slice out of it?
It's true, yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Or maybe it was there for pudding for the kids when they come round.
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, but they left early.
They did.
So they couldn't have the cake.
It all makes sense.
And so he had one slice out of depression that night, and then he put it in the fridge for later.
Nobody's one slice of cake out.
Then that just like, then that shows that he has great like self-control.
Yeah.
When it comes to cake. Wow.
He should have just shown that. Just saying, hey, look, ignore the wig, but look, this cake, I've had one slice only.
And I got it days ago.
Yeah.
So glad that mystery's solved. Thank you guys. So worth it.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the cooking scenes?
Oh, well, I mean, it's a highlight. The flaming bosoms.
That was in the advertisements.
Yeah.
That was in, when it came out in the theaters.
Yeah.
It was like, look how funny this film's going to be.
Fire.
Sorry. So listeners at home, I just beat my chest.
I thought it was super slapstick and I wasn't fully there for it.
Really?
No.
I enjoyed the absurd, like the cakes, I enjoyed the absurdity of it. It was just so absurd.
It's like probably the best material in scenes like that, where you're just like, okay, yeah. Would have been too high of a rating, for a children's film, I'd imagine. Like, I imagine there's some great takes in that one.
But yeah, I think I've seen comedies where like all of the comedy is on that level. So I like the fact that this film keeps its slapstick kind of minimal. There's like one or two really good slapstick scenes, but then there's also lots of other jokes if you're not really here for a slapstick flaming boob moment. But yeah.
I did not pay to see flaming boob.
No, I certainly did not.
But in fact they did, because it was in the previews.
Yeah, I was thinking that smell of like burnt rubber must have stunk.
Yeah, like there was a lot of smoke in that room. That would have smoked out of the house.
Yeah,
and
it would fire alarm.
And it would have stuck in the kitchen for quite a while. Not so much as I'll just get a takeaway and it'll all be fine.
Yeah,
this takeaway smells like burnt rubber.
Also, at one point, I hear him trying to scrape a pot that's had like food in it on maximum heat, I guess, and I can hear him like scraping the bottom, and it's clearly very much burnt on. That's not coming off in half an hour.
No.
Like, what's going on there? Oh, you just ordered a takeaway, but where's all the dirty dishes come from? Like, it makes no sense.
This film's falling apart the more we look at it.
I know.
We put it under the microscope and it's not holding up.
This is what I do, Lauren. I find the smallest issues with a film, blow them out of proportion.
I'd kind of
think you do that with life.
Yeah.
No, you don't actually.
No, that is true. That's a good summary.
But I'd forgotten how quickly the older kids actually find out what's going on. It's quite early in the film. The son sees him peeing standing up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
which is a lot more traumatic than that film.
Oh God, yeah.
It's just like,
there were a lot of moments in this film.
But it was just like, and the scene lasts for a while.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he just like looks over at him, like they have eye contact for a good solid 5 seconds. And it's just like Robin Williams is staring his son down as he's dressed as a woman, peeing while he's standing.
And then, so his reaction is to run out, follow the son into the bedroom where there's a daughter as well. And all he does is he uses his voice.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that say, your dad had been a nanny for months?
Yeah.
And suddenly you find out that they pee standing up and then they walk in and then it's got your dad's voice. Would you instantly clock on?
I think those kids are going to be very fucked up.
Do you think that you need a bit of explanation of
I'm just trying to imagine my dad dressed as a nanny.
Yeah, me too. It's hilarious.
But my dad was literally the only black person in the area we lived in. So it's like, now there's two.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I don't think my dad would look good in a. Yeah,
that's a whole new sort of the restaurant scene. You've got to play the two black men in the neighbourhood.
But yeah, I mean, but the kids get on board quite quickly. Meanwhile, I guess this is when Sally Field is kind of really getting into this relationship with Pierce Brosnan, and their relationship's developing. Sally Field's hair is getting bigger and bigger in every scene, so you can tell she's really turned on.
That's how it works.
That's how women work.
Yeah. Our hair gets bigger or frizzier.
It did. Every scene just getting wider and wider and wider.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the little scenes together though, Sally Field and Mrs Doubtfire. There's a scene where obviously she's talking about when's too soon to have to start a new relationship after a divorce.
That brings up another point. Sally Field really needs some girlfriends.
Yeah, she has no friends in this film, does she?
No friends. She has no other family. Call your sister. Yeah. Your mother.
Call Harvey. Call Harvey Firestein.
Yeah.
Right?
He's probably the better ear, but it's just you're telling me, there's so many TMI moments with the nanny.
I mean, that is very true. Yeah.
Also, I'm thinking, bad decision to say that, you can never get with anybody else, because that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. Say 3 months, because that's when the court order happens again.
Oh, yeah.
To say, about 3-6 months or whatever, and, then that's a good amount of time. As opposed to, 2 days, whatever it's been.
She has moved on very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just that it is kind of typical of the instigator of a breakup, to move on to somebody from the past quite quickly.
Yeah.
And rebound with them.
Sure, absolutely. So do you think Pierce is just a rebound? He's not going to be the keeper?
It looked like he was going to be a keeper.
He wanted to be...
Because he was really taken with the kids.
Yeah.
And she was quite taken with him as well, I think.
Yeah.
I thought.
But was that just the flush of being looked at by another man for the first time in a long time? Or?
Yeah. Because I wonder how they broke up in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to see that.
I always wished you well.
It seemed like they had a torrid relationship back in the day. Yeah.
Well, of course it's torrid. She's American, he's English. It's going to be torrid.
Yeah.
Oh, as I hold this cold meat, I'm reminded of Winston. God rest his soul.
When did he pass on?
8 years ago, dear. This November.
What happened?
He was quite fond of the drink.
Ah.
It was the drink that killed him.
How awful. He was an alcoholic.
No, he was hit by a Guinness truck. So it was quite literally the drink that killed him.
Oh, how tragic.
Oh, and then we have the pool party scene. Oh, it's just so much fun. When they all go to the pool.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of my highlights.
Yeah.
Why so?
Just because this was the peak of Mrs Doubtfire's passive aggression towards Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, absolutely was.
Yeah.
Another scene that was in the the trailer.
Which bit?
When she throws the...
Oh, the drive-by fruiting.
Yeah, the
drive-by fruiting.
It was a drive-by. Like, but I think like they must have put in some of it, like, because that's one of the things they often do in trailers is they put in other lines that aren't in the movie.
Yeah, sure.
So I think they put in something else.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I remember that being in the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's called liposuction.
And that like a nice bit of expletive dialogue. It's just like, but you don't like kids, but I like those kids.
Oh yeah,
just like
set it up. Yeah.
This is your big scene, Pierce.
And then we kind of get to the climax of the movie, which is the restaurant scene, which you discussed before, is the classic sitcom. Yeah. Oh no, I have to be two identities at once.
Yeah.
Because he's going to the family meal with Pierce Brosnan and the kids and Sally Field as Mrs Doubtfire. Mm-hmm. And he's also meeting the head of the TV studio that he's now working at to pitch his new TV idea with his boss as Daniel, as the man. Mm-hmm. And of course, oh no, there's only one restaurant in all of San Francisco, so it's... Yeah, it's that one. Did you recognise that restaurant? Is it a well-known restaurant?
I never know.
So just generic interior.
It was very rare because if you don't live in San Francisco, it's hard to. The only way you can get in is by a bridge, so it's really it just makes it more difficult. So it's very rare that we got out for restaurants meals there. But it might be. I mean, the restaurant is called Bridges.
Yes, I think it is. Yeah.
Because there's so many bridges in San Francisco, so why not name a restaurant after the fact? No, I've not heard of that restaurant.
No, okay. It seemed nice.
Yeah. I think that was a scene that was shot in Los Angeles to save money.
Probably, as opposed to set.
Yeah. Why was it that he insisted on sitting in a different place, like in the smoking area and not in the smoking area?
Because he wanted to be able to change identity without being... The family would recognise both.
Oh, yeah, I also didn't want a family saying, like, oh, Dad, hello.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's why. And then, just so there's more physical comedy of running around and... Yeah.
Also, the smoking area was pretty much just next to the non-smoking area. Yeah. No barricade.
Yeah, exactly. That smoke would have travelled. Yeah.
Oh, that's how it was.
It was, yeah. To be fair. As soon as they said that at the maitre d' kind of says smoking or non-smoking, I was like, oh man, remember when restaurants had smoking sections? Remember how gross that was? Like,
That's where we sat because my grandma would smoke. So.
Yeah. Yeah, there's videos of me as a
smoking section of Bridges restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah.
She'd only go to Bridges to have her cigarettes.
There are loads of like childhood family videos of me and like with family occasions, like in restaurants or even in our living room, like where there'll be like a bunch of adults all just sat around just like chain smoking, and a little like 2-year-old John just like. And nobody's like concerned. It's just like just so over the time.
And look at him now.
Yeah, it didn't do me any harm at all.
That's not where I was going.
Is that why you're ginger?
I could have had like a full head of hair. Could have had a wife.
Kids. Your secondhand smoke turned me gay.
That sounds like the title of an autobiography I'm going to write and market. Oh yeah. But yeah, I really did like the scene. I really liked as much as it was very classic slapstick, but I loved all her excuses for disappearing or between the two tables.
Yeah,
I liked the amount that she was drinking.
Oh, her getting progressively more and more drunk was hysterical.
Yeah, because with the family one at that point, she could have just said, "Oh, I don't drink." And that'd be fine. I'll just take water or something, whatever.
Sure. And she's all in.
No,
I mean, Robin Williams is quite clearly an alcoholic.
Yeah, yes.
Which is just an issue that was never addressed in the film.
I did appreciate that the character did visibly get drunker as the evening went on. Despite actually not drinking that much, because it was always sit down for 2 minutes and then, got to pad my nose.
No, but he had several
many scotches. Yeah, he was really
in a short amount of time, and they were double scotches. And at one point, he's like, bring us each 2 double scotches. Yeah. The very first time. And then you see the waiter taking them away and bringing another one to each of them.
Yeah. Also,
that's gonna
affect you. Yeah. Also, he's wearing like a dress suit, and then over the dress suit he's wearing the full Mrs Doubtfire, but he must be sweating like a...
Well, he's not got any skin on show, so it's fine. He's wearing a mask.
And but when he's Robin Williams had so much body
hair. Yeah, he must have stunk.
And then just him as an actor going through that scene just must have been tiring.
That's why I sprayed the perfume on.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
See, another tiny detail we worked out.
Yeah. Well, I forgot about that.
But there's a bit where, as Mrs Doubtfire, he kind of says, I need to go and take my medication. And Sally Field says, take it at the table. I can't take it orally, do you?
Yeah.
so quick.
Love it. Oh, there's so many.
There were no looks at that point. And we're like, like, oh.
In the midst of all of this, he poisons Pierce Brosnan as well because Pierce is allergic to spicy foods or something. Or aubergines? Pepper. He's allergic to pepper.
And so Robin or Mrs Doubtfire puts lots of pepper on his plate.
Yeah.
Cayenne pepper on his plate.
Pretty monstrous.
Yeah. I mean, well, at that point, they just think that he's going to have... His face is going to just get bigger or something. Sure. And, you know, like, it'll be awkward, but it'll be fine or whatever. I don't know. He doesn't expect him to actually choke and die.
Sure.
Does he die?
No, he doesn't.
No, he just chokes.
Potentially.
Although to be
Rewatching
fair,
it today, I didn't get to the end.
Okay. It's very bleak.
Yeah.
He ends up in prison.
It didn't look like the issue that he had was he's allergic to the ingredient. It was just he swallowed a large piece of food because you see it afterwards. Yeah. It's a very large piece of food.
Well, I think the shock of like, oh my god, my throat's closing up, caused him to choke.
Yeah.
Okay, to choke, so essentially swallow it in his mouth and choke.
And that was a callback to earlier, how she mentioned that in the interview that she did the
I mean, also at that point, because she was saying that in like the first interview, at which point she'd only just worked out like a first name and stuff. I was thinking, have you been on a first aid course? Like, what if one of the kids actually does that and then...
Well, clearly he or she has, because like, the scene of him just flinging Pierce Brosnan around like a rag doll is so funny.
Yeah, that was good.
I absolutely loved it. But while this is happening, all of the Mrs Doubtfire stuff falls off. Like the teeth come out and the wig, the mask comes peeling off. And I just think Mara Wilson must be shitting herself. Like, she must be terrified. Like this beloved old English nanny that she's been looking at, that she's been looking up to for the past few months, suddenly is like the face is literally peeling off, and it's her dad underneath. It's she is going to be in therapy for life.
Yeah, because it's just like that scary movie they were watching at the beginning of the film.
It was.
Yeah.
It all comes back.
Yeah.
Although she wasn't terrified by that, she was just like, that's weird.
Yeah. I feel like she's got some sociopathic tendencies.
Yeah. Oh no, she's going to be a murderer.
Certainly. Yeah. I have to say though, Sally Field's reaction when she figures out what's happening, I rewound it 4 or 5 times and just watched it over and over again. It was so funny.
Yeah, I while thinking about this podcast, I did become increasingly more obsessed with Sally Field.
She's amazing. I love her.
And it's just like, and then like that's one of the things you think about casting, because if this movie is made today and they were recasting it, then like the character that plays Sally Field will be just old enough to believably have those kids, while still being paired with Robin Williams. Whereas Sally Field is like, it's like something like almost 10 years older than Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And it's just like, she's a believable, like good-looking and smart mother.
She is
to these kids,
and she's able to be as funny. Like she's not.
Sorry, I'm just rewatching it. It is. there are a lot of faces going. She goes so many different emotions.
Exactly. She processes. Can we all watch it quickly, or is it going to mess up the recording?
Yeah.
She processes so much emotion in like 5 seconds. Like,
happy birthday.
Daniel! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! The whole time you were... The whole time!
Oh, I'm sorry, Miranda, please.
Don't talk to me! Don't touch me! Don't touch me! I have to go. We have to leave now. I have to leave. We have to leave now. I have to go. We're going.
And that's kind of the end of the film, mostly.
Just pretty much wrap it up,
He makes the fatal mistake of representing himself in court. It was never a good idea.
No.
Never a good idea. And unsurprisingly, he loses custody of his children. It gets really real at this point. It's actually very sad, right? Because then it kind of almost... It doesn't quite comment on it, but it kind of digs into this whole kind of... Even though obviously the character is not transgendered or anything, but it kind of... As if he was. Because like, because of your strange... quote-unquote strange behaviours and strange interests, we don't feel it's safe for you to be around children, kind of thing. And then he says, like, when he confronts Sally Field, he's like, I have to have someone watching my kids all the time because I have to make sure I'm not, essentially molesting. He doesn't say molesting, but he basically all but says
every time I touch them.
Every time I touch them, someone's making notes, and it's like, do you know what that feels like? And it's like, it gets very, very, like, serious and sad. Like, and again, I think you were saying it, like, at the beginning, and that's what makes Robin Williams, above many other comic actors, who could have played the comedy, but to switch and to also be able to play the drama is what makes him so good, because he can make these scenes really, really powerful.
But like I said earlier, like she didn't want that punishment for him.
No, sure. Yeah, exactly.
Like, he was punished way more than he should have been. He was punished because of the judge's misunderstanding of what the situation was.
Absolutely true. But anyway, we get a happy ending. Well, a bittersweet happy ending, where Sally Field realises that the kids are much happier with their father in their life, so she kind of waives the court order, and they have joint custody. So, well, he's going to look after them after school at least, so he's going to get to see them a lot more than he would. And but as I said earlier, I like the fact that it ends, but it doesn't end with like, oh, and then they decided to get back together and it was all happy families. It was like, no, they're staying separated. That marriage is absolutely over.
Yeah.
But
the film was never about the marriage.
No, absolutely, it was not.
Like, it was never a will they, won't they between those two at all.
But that would have been a very easy way for the film to just conclude. You know what I mean? It's like a lesser film would have just been like, oh, and happy ever after. But
but like the first time you watch it, that's one of the things you're thinking. It's just like, okay, so how are they going to get back together?
Sure, yeah, because that's what you expect. You're crying for that with these films.
Well, then also we get that great speech with the TV show when Mrs Doubtfire is saying that, like, some parents will break up and then you won't have a mummy and daddy living in the same house together, but that's fine. And I imagine that's been a very important speech for a lot of people who've watched this film.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, because, let's see, I would have been 12 or 13 when this film came out, and I was one of the only people in my school that wasn't, like, everybody at school, their father was in their life, either divorced or actually still together, and it was really odd because I lived with both my mom and my grandma. So that scene was really important to me at that age because it was just like, they're recognizing it on a major in the movie theater.
Sure.
So yes, I'm here to testify that it is an important scene.
Do you think that's helped this film become one of your favourites?
I mean, that scene, like, I mean, yeah, it really felt at home for me, the whole movie. So, and the way that it ended, it's like it made it still realistic.
But in a way that's not the end of the world. So,
yeah. I just wish that they avoided the Aerosmith song.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a good point to seek to our next section, which is drinking games.
Yes.
So, do you have any drinking games? Do you want to start?
I would have probably said any time that Robin Williams that you have to see Robin Williams get dressed or undressed.
That's a good one.
But not only just like taking a shot or whatever, you have to continue drinking the whole time.
Until he's fully clothed.
Yeah, so you have to have like several bottles.
Yeah.
Until he's done getting changed.
Okay.
Go hard or go home, Harry.
Wow.
That was my first one. But then Pierce Brosnan is wronged or insulted in any way.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. He gets a lot of abuse, mostly from Mrs. Doubtfire.
He's not really a bad guy.
No, he's not supposed. I don't think he's supposed to be. I think that's the point. He is essentially a nice person. So yeah, but I agree. There's lots of really good. I might do a montage here of sound clips of all the sick burns she kind of flings his way because there are quite a lot of them.
Well, it's good to meet you.
You too.
Yes. I have a home in London. I was born there. What part of England are you from?
Here and there, dear. All over, really.
Yes. Accent's a little kind of muddled there.
Really? Well, so's your tan.
There's Stu!
Where? Oh, on the board there. Oh, isn't he a stunning piece of work? Look, Neddy, that's called liposuction.
Let's go, kids. Swim time.
Go, dear, I'll be fine.
Come on. Your day's on me, Mrs. Doubtfire. Anything you need, just put in my tab, okay?
Thank you, dear. Touch me again, I'll drown you, you bastard. I'll just sit here.
I had, just to your point earlier, I had drink for somewhat inappropriate musical cues, or somewhat insensitive musical cues.
Yeah.
This dude looks like a lady. There's Walk Like a Man.
Yeah.
There's others as well. I'm sure there's others. There's quite a few.
Those are the only two songs.
Those are the
I
two.
remember.
They're the two big, like, oh, that's on the nose. But
I mean, and if he's saying Jew when he's not supposed to,
that's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah, we'll go back to that. Yeah. Anyone?
Oh, and maybe overshares. Whenever Sally Field overshares.
That's good. That's very good. Yeah. Yeah. Who else are you going to ask other than like your 70-something living nanny?
Who obviously she did not check any references.
Yes. Oh yeah, clearly there was no agency behind any of this. It's like, sure.
It's like, that's really funny. You sound just like my husband's brother.
Yeah. Drink for every new voice.
Oh god,
that comes out of Robin Williams.
You have to have a lot prepared.
That would kill you. Yeah.
As much as Lawrence.
Yeah, well, equal. If you did them both, then my god, yeah, have the hospital on standby. Drink for oversized clothing. Okay. It's a very 90s trope, especially the boy. The son was wearing so many like ridiculously oversized like.
He's a growing boy. He's got to grow into his clothes.
you got to get the bigger sizes, or else you're just spending too much money.
Well, unless he's going to grow into John Candy in the next year. I think it's like...
Also, I didn't get the impression that they were a poor family.
Oh no, they were very that house.
I didn't get the impression that Lydia listens to L7.
No,
She has an L. I was like, is that an L7? Like, what's your favorite song? Shit list.
It's like L7 and U2. Like, what's your taste level here? Like, you just need like Paula Abdul or something. Just completely just random 90s references.
She is very, very taste. It's great.
I enjoyed her bedroom. Yeah.
It was still like the pink frilly like curtains, and she obviously has what's in the house supposed to be the master bedroom.
Oh god, yeah. It's huge.
I mean, maybe that's not supposed to be the master bedroom, and Sally Fields' room is.
Yeah, it's probably just a floor. You never see Sally Fields' room. No, you do. No, Sally Fields' room is definitely smaller than Lydia's.
It is, yeah. She's got a big walk-in closet though, with all of her dresses. But the room itself's pretty small.
She probably would choose that over. Yeah. Maybe after the divorce, she's like, I can't bear to be in this room anymore. I'm taking your closet.
Yeah, you sleep in our bed. That's healthy. Yeah. No wonder she's listening to L7 at that
age. So, drink whenever Robin Williams talks to himself.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of talking when there's nobody else in the room, and he's not talking to Mrs Doubtfire necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Oh, or maybe and drink whenever he loses his accent in Mrs Doubtfire.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. Oh he drops out of it a lot. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like burping at somebody or just when that person tries to steal their handbag.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Go away, you loser!" Whatever.
Yeah. And then the guy who's like, "What are you looking at?"
Yeah, at the bar. Yeah. When he ogles that woman, and she's like, "No, thank you."
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't.
What did you expect to happen there?
I think there were times when he's forgotten that he's in drag. I think.
But then also,
I mean, he's drunk. He's had a few beers. Like.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about the other little running joke about the bus driver who inexplicably has a huge crush on Mrs Doubtfire and then sees the leg. He's like, I like a natural woman. Not a natural woman.
Well, actually, that's my next drinking game is drink for body hair.
Body hair, yeah. That's good. I mean, it's a Robin Williams film.
And Pierce Brosnan.
And Pierce Brosnan, yeah. Well, I have drink for Pierce Brosnan's man cleavage, so we can probably combine that. Yeah. He's wearing a lot of like deep V's, Pierce Brosnan. It's like you get a lot of this. Like, drink every time Mario Wilson makes you go, oh.
Well, that's pretty much any time she talks.
Yeah,
she doesn't have that many lines.
She doesn't, but every single one of them is a winner. It's just like
they're all a one-liner.
Yeah.
Drink anytime Robin Williams tries to get down with the kids. He does that quite a lot.
Yeah,
I say at the birthday party, there's that.
Oh, when he's dancing to jump around, I did cringe a little bit. Yeah.
Does the dinosaur rap count?
Yes, it does.
Oh God, yeah.
Dinosaur
rap
counts.
Because I'm talking about like an improv scene that's just like, okay, I guess that's the. Like, there was definitely better ones that have happened, but they were just like, well, if we put that in, it's gonna be too harsh of a rating. So,
also, Mrs Doubtfire playing football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that felt like a giveaway.
Yeah. Well, at that point, they'd worked it out.
Oh, okay.
The kids had worked it out.
Fair enough, yeah.
But yeah.
I've only got two more. One is drink every time she injures a body part. You've got what? Boobs on fire. I'm sure there's others. Well, you know,
the face falls off.
The face falls off. Yeah, the face gets run over. Yes, that counts definitely. Yeah.
Yep.
She takes a few beatings. My last one is drink for Sally Field facial reactions. She did throughout the film wonderfully.
Yes.
Also responding to a noise ordinance violation.
Believe me, I'm going to respond myself. I'm awfully sorry about this. I'll get back. You ate my begonias. Good.
Okay, this moment of the show, we always talk about Patreon. So, for any listeners that would like to support the show, we are available on patreon.com/beyondtheboxset. And there, for as much or as little as you decide to donate, you get everything which we do, which includes a bonus show called Beyond the Box Set, where we review films in the cinema right now. Every week we do a 30-second advert slot. And also, any of our patron supporters, once a month, you can pick a film for us, which, if you would like, you can come on the show and actually guest. And we're available on Skype as well if you are not local to Leeds. I believe that's it. Is that?
Yeah, so once a month we'll choose a Patreon who can pick a film for us to do on the main show. Recently we've had Mike from Genuine Chit Chat who did The Big Lebowski, which is a lot of fun. We've got another one coming up shortly, which we'll announce soon. They're always really good times, so do that. And also, if you are a Patreon, we'll also, if you would like to choose a film that already has a sequel as part of a franchise that you don't think would work on the main show, but you'd like to hear us talk about it, then you can once a month we'll pick one of you to choose one of those, and we will review them on our bonus show Beyond the Box Set.
So all that's available on patreon.com/Beyond the Box Set.
Yes.
Right. Now, before we get some sequels, I have remembered in time.
Oh.
The Friends game.
The Friends game, yeah.
We always forget this every time. So essentially, it's
our new
the film we're doing, Mrs Doubtfire. Mm-hmm. How would you recast it with the cast of Friends?
With the cast of Friends?
Yeah.
This is a tricky one because there's only really 2 major adult roles.
Mm-hmm. Or 3.
3 maybe. Oh yeah, I suppose 3.
Pierce Brosnan is an adult.
Yeah, it's very much so. Yeah.
Okay, so who would be Mrs Doubtfire?
With the cast of Friends?
Yeah, of the cast of Friends, who would be Mrs Doubtfire?
I'm like the only person who was a teenager in the 90s who hated that show.
Yeah, but do you still know the characters?
Okay, yeah, do you know what? Just because everything else she's been in since then, I've kind of enjoyed. Phoebe.
Lisa Kudrow.
Yep. Plays all the parts.
Okay. Plays all the parts?
Yeah, she completely, like, Eddie Murphy's it.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Kind of goes against our little rule here, because then how do you cast anybody else?
Yeah.
I think
because I don't want them casted in it. I can't stand any of them. Okay, do you know what? You could have Joey Lawrence. Joey Lawrence. Is that the guy?
What?
No, Joey Lawrence.
Joey Lawrence is Joey Lawrence.
Just say Joey.
Joey. What's his
Matt
LeBlanc.
Yeah.
See, because he's only good as he can come in as a guest star playing himself because he's only good playing himself.
True.
So,
well, I was thinking he's.
Okay, I'm voting Lauren out of this game. Okay. I am going to have take Phoebe, Lisa Kudrow, and she's Mrs Doubtfire / Robin Williams.
Sure.
I think of the 6, she's the best for that.
Sure.
Who's Sally Field?
See, again, I mean, can we make it a lesbian version and have it be Courtney Cox? No, Courtney Cox. I feel like she could maybe.
Oh yeah, sorry.
She's got Courtney Cox is way. She's got a Sally Field-esque quality. She's not as good as Sally. But
she has the same hair almost.
She has the same hair. Yeah,
that's all that matters.
She has her 90s helmet hair. Yeah.
Apparently, that's all that mattered in Friends.
Yeah, the hair. Yeah.
Why are we going to cast them? Hair.
Yeah. But I feel like she also has that kind of high, strong thing that Sally Field can sometimes do. So
yeah,
I can see that. So yeah, maybe Courtney Cox and Lisa Kudrow are playing, you know, a lesbian couple whose relationship is
Joey and Chandler. I've forgotten his name again.
Harvey Fierstein and
his partner.
Okay, so who's Harvey Fierstein?
That's gonna be Joey.
Joey, okay.
Because the New York accent, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
So Matt doesn't need to do much work.
Sure.
And
I feel like doing a passable Harvey Fierstein would be a stretch for.
And so that leaves Chandler to be Auntie Jack,
who doesn't have any lines.
Yeah.
Purely for gay reactions. That's purely what he was there for.
Which leaves Ross as Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, okay. I mean, he's punching above his weight.
Unless you want to cast Rachel as Pierce Brosnan.
Well, yeah, okay. You know, if it's a lesbian version,
so
Rachel's perfect.
Lesbian
If it's a lesbian romance, then absolutely she's a perfect because she's beautiful and charming. And,
okay, yeah, that works.
Orange.
So where's Ross then?
Are there any male? Maybe Ross is the
social worker.
Yeah, the court liaison person.
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah. That was a surprisingly easy one.
Easy? I don't know about easy, but it was good.
We got there quickly. It took us a long time to get there with Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Trust me, I just edited it.
All right, well, that's done. Okay, let's get some sequels. Okay, well, I, for some reason, actually, I really struggled to come up with an idea this episode.
Fair enough.
So I called on the internet for some help.
Oh,
and
cheat.
My friend from Wales, Ben, and his girlfriend Naomi, they helped me with this one. It's called Mrs Doubtfire 2, Stu's Return.
Stu's Return, okay.
I've come up with 2 ideas, by the way.
Okay, sure.
They're not that long.
Stu's the Pierce Brosnan character, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Which they looked around for a British name and took the name of the mouse.
Yes.
Stu, yeah.
Not that creative, really, is it? Okay, so it's 20 years later. Just for casting reasons, if I don't need to recast anybody. Pierce Brosnan tries to work his way back into the family.
Okay.
After being ousted by Robin Williams.
Oh, so him and Sally Field did get back together in this version?
Well, not necessarily. Maybe, yeah. Okay. I don't know, but...
So in this version, are we breaking our
Robin
rule?
Williams is going to be out of the picture for some reason. Pierce Brosnan will likely have kidnapped, maybe even killed him. We don't know.
Okay.
That's for you to decide.
Okay. So he can't have just died of... So he can't have just died of natural causes?
No, because Pierce Brosnan has got to be pitched as the villain in this piece.
Right. Okay. So this is a dark take on the Mrs Doubtfire franchise. Okay.
Does he have a long curly mustache and ties Mrs Doubtfire to the railroad tracks?
Sure. Yeah, that's how it happens.
Yeah.
Does he sing ABBA songs really badly?
That too. What a way to die. So Robin Williams is out of the picture. Pierce Brosnan swoops in, using prosthetics to look like Robin Williams.
Oh, wow, okay. So it's Pierce Brosnan
doing a Robin Williams impression.
So your sequel to Mrs Doubtfire's Face Off.
Yeah, well said.
So what, is he pretending... So Sally Field thinks that it's still Robin Williams, and the kids think it's still... Well, the kids are now like in their 30s, presumably, if it's 20 years later.
Well...
And they're all in rehab, so they don't know what's going on.
They are messed up.
For whatever reason, the family's still living together because they depend on each other so much because they're all so messed up,
Sure.
let's say. I don't know.
Okay.
And they're in San Francisco and can't afford to move out.
Yeah. But, well, ultimately, they work it out very quickly.
Sure, okay,
That Pierce Brosnan is still Pierce Brosnan.
Well, that's a relief.
This whole time, Pierce Brosnan. It's still Pierce Brosnan.
They don't know what's happened to Robin Williams, and I've not really written why the fact that they don't care. But they decide to punish Pierce Brosnan just by forcing him into more and more ridiculous situations.
So they're pretending they don't know. Is it like
Yes,
Friends where they don't know that we know they know we know? Is it that kind of thing?
Yeah, so they think they're pretending that they think it's Robin Williams.
Okay.
So they're like, oh, Dad, you're here, whatever.
Is Sally Field in on this?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, they're all in on it.
Okay.
Even Mara Wilson.
Great.
And so, yeah, more and more difficult situations, such as the same sort of dinner where, like, he's got to be in two places at once.
Okay.
And they try and push them all through that scene. They ask him to do lots of impressions, which obviously Robin Williams' character is very good at.
Yeah, I don't think Pierce Brosnan would be as good at that.
Exactly. So you get Pierce Brosnan trying to do Robin Williams trying to do
They could be
anything
checking
else.
like variety paper and going like, Dad, you should do this audition.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
And they take him there. Like, he can't act. Like,
yeah, and other shenanigans like that. He never clocks on that they've worked it out. And so when he thinks he has absolutely won their hearts, he decides to take off his prosthetic mask and reveal his Pierce Brosnan in a big sort of, ta-da! It was me all along! It turns out you do love me, or whatever. Nobody's surprised. Sally Field rolls her eyes very dramatically.
Okay.
Good reaction there. Mara Wilson does a slow clap. And and Pierce Brosnan works out that that they've had him over, and he just sort of walks out slowly with his head drooped.
Oh,
that's all I've got there.
Okay, short but sweet. But I'm picturing this as kind of a farce, like almost like Mrs Doubtfire meets Dumb and Dumber or something. Like, yeah, that'd be an interesting thing for Pierce Brosnan to kind of do, to kind of like
Pierce Brosnan try to be fun.
I feel like Pierce Brosnan, as he gets older and fatter, is just kind of really leaning into like being a comedic kind of like.
Just laughing.
I'm a comedy actor now, yeah.
Just laughing at himself.
Exactly, yeah. And this could like be taken.
I used to be James Bond, but clearly I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like this could be the next step on that journey. So good for him, yeah. Cool, like it.
Oh, he was a great Bond.
Okay, so the next one, I had the help of Phil Better, who's written in a couple of times.
Oh, sure, yeah.
From
You're reaching out to our fans now to.
I know that's John's job.
I didn't steal their ideas, though. I just read them and give them credit.
I give them the credit.
Yeah. He was helpful.
Okay.
So he runs a podcast called The Phil Better Show.
Sure.
That man's got a great name.
True. I'm sure, I don't know if that's like his baptismal name, but
maybe
it is. I don't know.
It's his name on Facebook.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You know, names on Facebook are always true.
Yeah.
Phil Better. I'm pretty sure it's not his real name, but fine.
He'll love this.
Just like my friend, just in case.
Okay, so this one's called, the name's Doubtfire. Mr. Doubtfire.
Okay, I'm sensing a similar theme emerging here.
Well, it's not really.
Okay.
So this one, I guess again, a grown-up Mara Wilson is now going to be the main character.
Okay.
She is a super great impressionist.
Okay.
She is like
taken after her father, yeah?
Taken after her late father.
Her late father, okay.
So she gets recruited by the CIA.
Okay.
To infiltrate the Mexican cartel so they can get information about their operation. This is going to be a bit of a Narcos thing. Have you seen that show?
I've not actually watched Narcos, no. Have you?
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, was this from Phil, yeah?
Yeah, but I've written around both these ideas. So
he's probably been watching it while he's typing up this idea.
So since her father was able to fool so many people with his TV show, she is now a world-famous impressionist. And so they use her, and then for some reason we have a musical number while they decide on her new persona.
Oh, okay.
Could be a bit of fun there.
Who's doing a musical number, sorry?
I don't know.
Is it like a montage
is she singing,
or is she singing?
Yeah, it's going to... I don't know.
Phil, you're making me feel worse.
Yes.
Ooh, mean.
I am
Phil
confused.
mediocre. Yeah.
Maybe it's her uncle, and her uncle's partner.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, they do a musical.
Maybe it's
They're
like...
gay. Gay people do musicals, right?
Well, I want to dispute it, but Harvey Fierstein literally wrote the book for The Birdcage, which is like that's like the gay lifetime achievement award right there.
Great. So her persona ends up being a male, and they decide on a name. I've not decided on a name. I thought you guys could help me with this.
Okay, so she's playing a man. What kind of
I need a first name. Second name is Doubtfire still.
Oh, okay. So it's like Agent Doubtfire. Phil Doubtfire.
Where did you get Phil from?
It just came.
Phil, middle name Better, Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Phil Better, Doubtfire. Great. Okay. And so after a while of her being in the field, she actually creates a relationship with the son of the leader of the cartel, which leads to conflicting emotions. As the son is gay, Mara Wilson playing a man at this point, she feels bad about leading him on.
So this is the son of a drug cartel that she's infiltrated playing a man?
Yes. And so now they're essentially having a gay relationship.
Okay. Not a very fulfilled one if he's not figured this out, unless she's really gone
She's obviously the bottom.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Touche. Yeah.
I don't know if you know how this works, John.
Look, normally there's still, you'd still figure it out.
It doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away.
The son of the cartel leader, he doesn't actually want to go into the family business. What he wants to do, he wants to open a nightclub in Miami, a la the film Birdcage.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who's playing him, by the way?
Oh, I don't know. Who?
I don't know. Well, who's Mara Wilson's gay love interest who wants to be a Miami bartender?
So are they like the same age? He a little bit older?
Yeah, about the same age, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know Mara Wilson's like 31 now because she's like about my age.
So you?
Well, I'm a big star.
Who's your age and gay?
You're gay.
You're your age.
I'm not sure they could meet my quote. So
okay,
I'm doing a great picture.
Are they in Mexico?
I think so. Yeah.
So it's a Mexican actor then.
Oh, again, I've not seen Narcos. This would make a bit more sense for you.
Okay, fine. You need to do your research if you're going to steal someone else's idea.
This is what I tell him when he writes the quiz. You do your research.
Clear he does not do his research for the quiz.
Okay, anyway, so John's playing this guy. Eventually, Mara Wilson comes out as a woman, and there is a very emotional scene very similar to Yentl.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting callbacks. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Mandy Patinkin play John.
There we So, no, Mandy Patinkin's got to be like the cartel leader or something. No, Mandy
Patinkin is John's dad.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Would
you like that?
That's raising a lot of confusing feelings that I'm not sure what to deal with right now. But sure. Okay.
Take that picture out of the frame and put it in.
Yeah, you see what my dad actually looks like. He's not Mandy Patinkin, right?
But you don't mind.
No.
So the two of them end up friends, and with the help of the son, the CIA shut down the cartel.
Okay.
Mara and the son run off to Miami to open the club.
Okay. So she goes from secret agent to running a club in Miami with a gay guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
As his straight best friend / confusing lover.
Sure. Okay.
Very true to life.
Tell us all the time.
Great.
Yeah, that's pretty much me done.
Okay.
Right, Lauren, what have you got for us?
So, I've done some research.
Okay. Oh, our guest is getting up. Are there going to be like pictures?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to go and get changed into a costume or something.
I'm going to have some sound effects of opening up a little sheet here. And there we go. So I've done some research and I found
that is a large wad of paper.
Of the first 5 and a bit pages of the script to the sequel.
Oh my god! You've written a script.
God.
Yeah.
Are we doing like a cold reading?
Oh yes.
Oh my god.
Oh sorry. Oh my.
We've never done this. I'm so excited right now. Okay.
So yeah, no, I think it's the rough draft that like somehow did not get deleted from Celtex. So the way that the parts are, we need one person to read stage directions and the part of Lydia.
Okay.
One person to read the parts of Chris and Matilda.
Okay.
And one person that will read the parts of Sally Field, the dolphin trainer, and Uncle.
Wow. Dolphin trainer? Right, okay. Lauren, I think you should choose who plays what.
You're directing this after all. Yeah.
Since Harry has a bit of a god complex, I think he should do the stage directions and Lydia. Okay. And then I think you should be Sally Field and the dolphin trainer and Uncle.
Okay, sure.
And I'll be Chris and Matilda.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so from the front room of the house in San Francisco in the afternoon. The house is not as immaculate as it was in the 90s, All of the decor is the same and looks dated, but not in a cool retro way, in a sad, stuck-in-the-past way. A phone rings. Chris, an adult man-child, sort of drunky, runs down the stairs.
Mom? Mom!
What is it?
Do you hear that noise?
It's the phone! Just answer it!
Wait, we still have a landline? Why?
Sally Field appears at the top of the stairs, bracing the rail looking down at Chris. It's a little bit overly dramatic, but this is who she is now.
Chris, just answer the friggin' phone! It might be!
Chris shakes his head and answers the phone. Well, hello!
Okay, now you give it a go, John.
Well, hello! Well, hello!
It's easily you, Lauren.
I haven't practiced.
Chris looks up to Sally Field.
It's Dad.
Cut to opening credits. Opening credits is a montage of the key events in the Hillards family since the last film. This includes Sally Field marrying... By the way, you've done Sally Field. It's inconsistent.
I know.
If you were consistently wrong, that'd be better.
It's Field singular.
This includes Sally Field marrying Remington Steele. Lydia Who's Remington Steele?
Oh, that's Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. He was in a show called Remington Steele.
Before James Bond, he was in a show called Remington Steele.
I forgot his name. No, wait, I found this. This person who must have typed this must have been dyslexic as well.
Lydia graduating school. Chris dropping out of school. Matilda is not her name. Going through speech therapy. Chris shooting up. Sally Fields and Remington getting a divorce. Matilda graduating improv school. Oh, you've done the same as me.
But see, that's one of the things that I was thinking, like, how would you, like, in a montage of, like, scenes, like, because I'm kind of picturing this as being kind of like the opening credits to, what's that film with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks?
Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can, where it's, like, kind of stick figures and stuff like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how do you, like, iconize graduating from improv school?
From improv school?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, they need to be, like, on stage, but I'm thinking they need to throw the hats in the air somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But the hats need to be invisible.
Yes. Yeah.
And they need to catch them.
Yeah. And then maybe they get into a lying, sitting, standing game.
Maybe the hats will have yes and written on them.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So Lydia...
Matilda
graduating improv school, Lydia getting married to a dolphin trainer, or maybe she is a dolphin trainer. Whatever. People like dolphins. I bet by the time this comes out, dolphins will be all the rage, like unicorns. Fade 2 into the living room later that evening. Chris, Sally Field, Lydia, and dolphin trainer are sitting in the living room. There is a drinks cart somewhere.
You're Lydia.
Am I Lydia?
Yeah.
Wait, I need to... Can you just tell us why we are here already? We are supposed to be at home watching Game of Thrones.
That show ended ages ago.
Hey, in case you didn't know, buddy, being a dolphin trainer is really hectic, especially when we both might be dolphin trainers.
Yeah, we took this time off so we could binge watch it together. Mom! Sally Field is pouring herself another drink. Yeah, we didn't see her at the start, but we know it's not her first of the evening.
What?
Should you be doing that in front of Chris?
I'm not the one in rehab.
Lydia Southern.
Sorry, my accent work is not consistent.
Sorry, Sally Field, can you do your last line?
Okay, yeah, I got it. I'm not the one in rehab.
And besides, my issues were with crack and heroin. I could have a drink.
Get your own.
Usually when I'm here, it's for intervention. I'd rather not... Sally Field?
We are not dolphins, so stop telling us what to do.
You're both Southern. There's more than one American accent.
I'm not. Sally's not channeling her mama gold days.
Lydia is having a silent revelation.
We don't tell them what to do.
Right, you just keep them in prison where they turn tricks for old fish.
Oh my God. What's somewhere else there? Are we doing intervention for Matilda? Matilda enters the room unnoticed.
I need an intervention? That's not very nice. There's no intervention.
Yet?
Scoff.
You didn't say scoff.
It's a direction. Very good. Shut up. It's about Dad. Oh, he's been arrested in some other country. We have to help him.
How? Are you going to yes and him out?
They said that she has to be bailed out by a man who has a ticket out of the country for her.
Her? She? Was he doing a Mrs Doubtfire in...
I don't know. He only had a few minutes to talk, but someone has to go.
Well, what about you?
You know I'm on the no-fly list.
What is this? All of you couldn't get into the same room for my birthday or Mother's Day, but you come together for your dad.
Sally Field takes a sip.
None of you like me. Nobody really likes me.
Mom!
Nope, I know. He's the fun one.
No, Mom, you can go and get Dad. A man has to get him. Yeah, well, we just have to visit Uncle.
Sally Field cuts her off with a stern look.
It will be great. I can go with you. It will be just like the mommy and daughter trips we used to take.
What mummy and daughter trips?
Oh no, hold on a minute. If you think I'm going to stick my neck out for...
Cut to into the uncle's workshop the next morning.
It means interior. Not into.
I don't know. The interior of the uncle's workshop the next morning. Sally Field sits on the salon chair. Uncle and his partner and everyone else from the last scene is there.
Why are you here? This is kind of a family thing.
The dolphin trainer gives him a stern look.
Danny dies so that John can be on the Iron Throne.
What the hell, Chris?
Who's the uncle?
Oh, I think it's you.
Oh.
Will you two stop arguing? Chris, that was a dick move. But there are more important matters at hand. We need to make your mom into a man.
Can Sally Field improv? I don't think that juice scene in Steel Mongolia was scripted.
Steel Magnolia.
What did I say?
Steel Mongolia.
Okay, that was my reading issues.
Just imagine what that film would look like. Steel Mongolia.
Drink the juice, Genghis.
Well, now you know your sequel for Steel Magnolia.
Yes. Sorry, go on.
Let me just start that again.
Okay.
Can Sally Field improv? I don't think that juice scene in Steel Magnolia was scripted, but there are several scenes of Sally Field being transformed into stereotypical men, such as...
Such as... What do you think?
So do I need to like improv as Sally Field?
No, like, it's just like, because like, so what, he had 3 scenes as different women before.
Oh, I
started.
see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so what we're doing is, so when Robin Williams was doing his Barbra Streisand and his Gloria Swanson and his... Yeah, okay. So yeah, I think Sally Field would like that. She's very method, so who could Sally Field play? I think she should be like Larry King.
Oh, that's a good one.
Larry King. Yeah.
I like that one.
I think she should do a Sean Connery, just to give her an excuse to do a Scottish accent.
And a James Bond.
And a James Bond, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all comes back to James Bond. And maybe Michael Caine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Could work. Or maybe too much English. Like Omar Sharif, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Alan Carr.
I don't think he's that well known in America. You know, Ian McKellen? Patrick Stewart?
Stewart.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart should be good.
She has to wear a bald cap.
Yes.
Yeah. Woody Allen.
Yes, that's good. Yeah. Has she ever been in a Woody Allen film? I don't think she has she?
No. Well, not a bad thing Woody Allen's
No,
done.
dodged a bullet, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I like
you have
that.
any ideas? Sally Field is man?
No.
Yeah.
So essentially this is all...
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Oh, that could work, yeah.
She's played both his mother and his lover.
There we go. She knows him well.
Not in the same movie, sadly.
Forrest Gump would be a different film.
So basically what this all builds to is it's a gender flip with Sally Field doing the Mrs Doubtfire role.
Yes, and have to go to some undescript foreign country that has laws that oppress women.
Oh, like in Not Without My Daughter? Or...
Yes, exactly. Because at one point, obviously, Matilda is going to get separated from her mom.
Of course.
And she's not going to leave without her daughter.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. You've tied in all the major Sally Field roles.
Yes, every Sally Field film. Well, because I mean...
And some will show unionize people.
Because you know that Sally Field has the most famous Oscar speech.
Yes, you really like it. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
but yeah, no, that's...
Like it. No, it's really good.
Yeah, man, no one's ever done that before.
So our first ever scripted dramatic reading. I hope you enjoyed it, listeners. Okay, so I might have left mine to last because I've not really got a huge amount this week.
Mm-hmm.
I've not had a lot of time to brainstorm, so I've got 3 small ideas, and I'm hoping you guys can help to flesh it out.
Mm-hmm.
So our first idea is a prequel focusing on the early years of Daniel, Miranda, and Stu.
Okay.
Because we talked about how, obviously, at some point, Sally Field and Pierce Brosnan must have had, like, a torrid love affair. So I'm thinking maybe this could be like Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, where maybe it opens at Robin Williams' funeral, just right around him being dead. Everyone's very sad, all the cast get back together, and maybe they reminisce about, so how did you and Dad even get together in the first place? Flashback, 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 you know. And then we go back in time to the 1960s, maybe? Like the swinging 60s.
Yeah. The swinging 60s.
Yeah.
When who got together?
When Robin Williams and Sally Field?
No.
70s? 70s, okay.
Maybe 80s.
Well, it's like, this film
was like if they had Lydia right away after they met, then it would have been like early 80s, late 70s, but definitely no. 60s is a bit too early.
Okay. So this great late 70s, perfect. It's like the peak of the disco era. Maybe it's like disco's just about. So maybe it's like Staying Alive, kind of. Maybe we open with Robin Williams walking down the street doing a John Travolta.
I mean, 60s would make sense because Sally Field was born in 1946.
Okay.
So Robin Williams is 1951.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. But if we're doing this, we need to do some like younger casting. So who would be a young Robin Williams, do you reckon? Who can do what Robin Williams does, or close to it? It's a big ask.
Yeah, I have been trying to think of it, and I can't.
I don't know any of the young comedians that are good.
Well, I can think of young comedians, but ones who can do all that, like that many voices and...
Nobody.
I mean, I like some obscure comedians that I've heard before whose name I can't recall.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
yeah.
Use them then.
Yeah. That's what their name is in the credits.
Well, okay, let's think of...
But no, do you know what? To be fair, I really think that if anybody gets casted as Robin Williams, it should be a Hispanic or a black person.
Sure, just
and then they can imitate white people.
Okay, so Donald Glover is going to play the role of...
Oh my God, you have me at Donald Glover.
Yeah. So Donald Glover is inexplicably playing a young Robin Williams.
Okay.
And everyone's just going to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Young Sally Field. Like 70s disco era Sally Field.
Poetry?
Well, in this film?
Early 20s?
Early 20s, yeah.
Early 20s, okay.
She's got to be cute and quirky, but scrappy.
I don't know anybody that's like that because, I think it should be.
What do you say? Talented and quirky.
Yeah, like
Mara
scrappy.
Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, it could work.
I mean, she's 31 now, but like
she could do. Yeah,
but
okay.
she's a little bit old now. I don't know how old Donald Glover is.
Donald Glover, I think, is in his mid-30s, maybe.
Yeah, now then that would work fine.
Yeah, okay, we're fine.
Yeah.
Let's have Mara Wilson.
Yeah.
Fine. The circle of life continues.
Yeah.
And we need a young Pierce Brosnan.
Use the guy from Mamma Mia.
Oh yeah, there was who was the young guy? Was he anyone famous or just no?
Don't know.
Fine, okay. Whoever played young Pierce Brosnan in Mamma Mia.
Typecast.
Yeah, you carry on. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, so I think we're going to go back to the 70s, the disco era. Maybe it's going to start with Donald Glover. This worked out better than I thought, actually, because Donald Glover walking down a street like John Travolta in Staying Alive or in Saturday Night Fever. It's just he's just strutting in his like white, like head to toe disco outfit.
Yeah.
And he's just the cock of the walk. He's the coolest guy around, and he does fabulous voice work as well. And I guess him and Sally Field meet at like a discotheque, and discotheque.
Yeah.
And he charms her with his 1,000 voices.
Brosnan be played by Disco Stu from The Simpsons.
Yes, it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yeah, it's just half animated.
Disco Stu is here for you.
That might be kind of perfect. Yeah.
Young Pierce Brosnan is Jeremy Irvine.
No idea.
He's been in Warhorse, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, Railway Man, and Now Is Good.
Fine. Great.
Yeah, cool.
Gives me nothing. But yeah, I feel it's just going to set up a classic love triangle. So we're going to have Donald Glover as young Robin Williams, who's funny and quirky and does a lot of voices, and then we've got Disco Stu, young Pierce Brosnan, who's just he's got the looks and the outfit and the attitude, and he's going to steal.
Which is totally Disco Stu.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to turn Sally Field's head / Mara Wilson's head, and she will she'll fall for it initially, but then Robin Williams will win her back with just the power of his personality and his charisma.
And his spontaneity.
And his dead-on impressions of other races, which she just loves. Yeah, and that's all I had with that one. Pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't...
You should mix in... Can we mix in also how Uncle Frank and Auntie Jack meet?
Yes! Oh my God! Yes!
For their love of masks and like makeup
Yeah,
like
okay.
they're like in school and they've made themselves up, so they don't know what they actually look like.
Perfect. Yeah, it's like a Studio 54 kind of vibe. Yeah, they just go to the clubs in these outfits, and they just like they're the only two people out there who are like really into like crafts and weird costumes. Yeah, young Harvey Fierstein. I mean, that's a voice. Finding a young Harvey Fierstein.
Well, I think you could cast anybody and just have Harvey Fierstein
Just
jumping over.
Yeah, he's got dubbed over. Yeah, he's got the same one.
So, Harry should play him.
Yeah. It's Timothy Chalamet, but with Harvey Fierstein.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Brilliant.
Okay, and yeah, Auntie Jack shouldn't have any dialogue though. It should just purely be reactions, like just to continue that. Yes. Beautiful, love it. Okay, idea 2, kind of similar to what you/Phil pitched. It's called Son of Doubtfire.
Son of Doubtfire.
Son of Doubtfire, yeah. In this film, Mara Wilson is our leading character. So Robin Williams has passed away. Maybe it opens at his funeral or something. She has.
It's just too close to home.
I'm sorry. I know. She has her own children. Maybe she's married young and had a couple of kids, and they have behavioural problems. She's really struggling to connect to them. She sends them to a private school because she's doing very well in life and she doesn't have time to raise them herself. But then she feels pangs of guilt about this. So then she actually ends up quitting her job, having a bit of a breakdown, and applying as the gamekeeper at this posh private school where her kids are being raised. But it's a male gamekeeper, a Scottish gamekeeper in the Willie from The Simpsons kind of vein.
So then she could get a discount for sending her kids.
Yes.
She works there.
So I'm thinking Scottish accent like Mrs Doubtfire. So she basically does the same thing. So she becomes like, she starts working at the high school that her kids are being raised at in Mandrag as a gruff Scottish gamekeeper with a heart of gold.
So both of your ideas have Simpsons characters in them.
Basically, yes. Well, you brought in Disco Stew. That wasn't me.
But he was in the disco and his name was Stu.
I mean, yeah, it writes itself. But yeah, and then I guess it's just about her kind of getting to know the kids, and like she becomes their confidant, and then at some point she's going to be revealed. And yeah,
like, is it by accident or?
Oh, totally.
Does she do
Yeah,
it on purpose.
Maybe there is. Oh, maybe they're playing some pranks one night because she's the gamekeeper. She's responsible for the yard.
Yeah.
Maybe the kids are like doing some kind of prank. And maybe they disturb like a beehive and it falls down. It's all a bit My Girl, and then she runs in and as groundskeeper Willie or groundskeeper Doubtfire, as groundskeeper Mara. Maybe she runs in with her pitchfork and like saves the day and like beats the beehive and stuff and gets that out of the way. But in the process, like she's attacked by all the bees and her face swells up and all the prosthetics fall off and it's like, oh my god, it's Mom. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I like it.
It's literally all I've
Bees.
got. Bees.
Brought down by bees.
Yeah. And my final idea, which is literally just a tagline, so I don't know if you can help with this, is Mrs Doubtfire meets Mary Poppins meets Nanny McPhee.
Oh, I don't know Nanny McPhee, but I was seeing a lot of Mary Poppins in this.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, like, they're doing the remake of Mary Poppins, aren't they? Like,
it's not a remake.
So the sequel to Mary Poppins this Christmas.
Yeah, get on that episode.
Sure, yeah. Quick times are wasted. What are those characters met up? What might happen there?
I reckon they'll all argue.
Yeah.
It's about what is the proper way to do things.
They've all got different
They'd
approaches.
have a tea-making competition.
Yeah.
There's like one child they all have to nanny at the same time.
Yes.
There's like one horrible child. Which one straightens them up?
My only thought was either you could have like just the three of them meet up and compete with each other.
You could do a Hunger Games scenario.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, a nanny
Nanny to the death.
The nanny games.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like it. Yeah, that's only one survives. Three nannies enter, one nanny leaves. Like it, okay. Well, my other idea was maybe that the three of them would star in a remake of Hocus Pocus.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Mrs Doubtfire, Nanny McPhee, and Mary Poppins in like a very nice, genteel English version of Hocus Pocus. Like, yeah.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
No,
Sorry.
not really, I know.
I haven't seen Hocus Pocus in ages.
It's such a good film.
That is a great film.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's Halloween soon, so
yeah.
Watch it then.
Yeah. But yeah.
Not before.
No.
But yeah, that's all I had. So those are my ideas.
Oh yeah. Very good.
Thank you. Yeah. A bit thin this week, but we're running long anyway, so it's fine. So. Okay, let's get to some listener submissions. So Harriet, your drinking game this week, unsurprisingly, is jokes on the name, twists on the name.
Okay.
Cool. So William Silcott says Mrs Certainfire. Yeah.
Should have seen that one coming.
Yeah. Phil Better, who has already contributed to this podcast, but clearly had two ideas.
How dare he?
I know, yeah.
Some better not be better than what he gave me.
Well, I'll let you be the judge. It's called The Doubtfires. The family is enjoying life. Mrs Doubtfire is a massive hit on television and is about to film her first movie. But Daniel, Robin Williams' character, is feeling stressed and doesn't know if he can keep up his family life and the appearances and as Mrs Doubtfire.
Mm-hmm.
So he decides to go on a road trip with the kids and Miranda, and hilarious antics ensue as the family starts to create other personas for the Doubtfire family. So I guess all the kids and Sally Field get to create their own Mrs Doubtfires.
Okay, yeah.
All of which concludes with the kids being incorporated into the TV show so that Daniel can see them even more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this is going to deal with the fact that this film came out 20 years ago and all these kids are now pushing 40, but...
Well, I mean, Mara Wilson doesn't want to be in the sequel anyway.
No,
so,
true, yeah, she doesn't act in it, she just writes these days, but fine.
I think that idea is better than the one he gave me, so thanks, Phil, that's great.
Well, I mean, to be fair, everybody does try to sabotage you.
Yeah. It's a running theme on this show.
Yeah.
That's done the show, John. Yeah. I work with Lauren.
I know, yes.
But nobody does it better than you, Harry.
There's no sabotage like self-sabotage. Yeah. Scott Hillman says, everyone's a little bit older and the kids have to come to terms with the fact that Daniel / Mrs Doubtfire actually decides she's happier this way. And the entire film is a stealth prequel to the movie The Birdcage. So it's Robin Williams kind of coming out of the closet and...
What is The Birdcage?
It's a film.
Oh my god!
It's a film we're going to do.
Don't be surprised that I've not seen or heard of a thing.
No, don't tell him, because it's a film we're going to do very soon because I love it deeply. And it's
the French version has a sequel.
We're going to stick to the English version.
Yeah, but as the greatest thing about that film was that it took so little money to make it, and it was like a number one at the box office for ages.
Yeah, it holds up. It is so funny. It does. Yeah, The Birdcage will come when we get a bit of a break from. Maybe next year now, because we've got very little time between now and Christmas.
We've got November.
Yeah, maybe it'll come in November then. Yeah, sure. Next time I get a free week, we're gonna do The Birdcage. Mm-hmm. You'll love it. It's great.
Can't wait.
What?
Can't wait.
You will like it. You will like it.
What? Like I was gonna like Yentl.
I never thought you were gonna like.
Nobody likes Yentl.
Yentl was. I purely chose Yentl to fuck with you.
Not even Yentl likes Yentl.
Alison Attleby says, a thriller about the bus driver's struggle to find the woman who captured his heart, who then seemingly disappeared into thin air. He suspects foul play.
But wouldn't he see her on television?
Maybe he doesn't watch that channel.
But okay.
It seems like there's only that one channel.
I would take that idea and then second rewrite of that script say that he starts to stalk. Celebrity stalker.
Like it. It's like single white female, but with the bus driver. Yeah. Brilliant.
He takes her skin off and becomes her.
It puts the lotion on its skin. Okay, we just took your idea, Alison, and made it so much darker.
Thank you for the starting point.
Yeah. Ian Emser said, 2 misses, 2 doubt, 2 fire.
Yeah. Fucking hell. That's like 3 drinks.
I know, yeah. Alex Garcia said, Mr. and Mrs. Doubtfire. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are rival children's television performers who are thrown together as a wildly popular TV couple. They try to sabotage each other's careers, while in a hilarious case of mistaken identity, an international team of mercenaries is trying to assassinate them.
Mm-hmm.
So, sure?
Yep, I'm fully for that.
Okay. Brian Vaughn said, just 2 hours of Harvey Fierstein singing show tunes.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, I would watch that.
Yeah.
We have a couple of casting suggestions next. Recasting suggestions. Matt Cook said, Melissa McCarthy is Mr. Doubtfire.
Yep.
Seems plausible, yeah?
Yep.
And then Tom Brennan said, and I'm very much on board for this, Tiffany Haddish is Mr. Doubtfire. Do you know Tiffany Haddish is?
Yeah, that's...
Oh, she's so funny.
I would absolutely watch that.
Yeah.
I've actually had somebody else... I've got some submissions as well.
Sure, go
I've
for
actually
it.
had somebody, Peter J, say Melissa McCarthy is Mr. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a common one.
Yeah. Okay. Have you got any more that you need to read out? Or?
Yeah, I've got a few.
Sure.
If I should go now?
I've still got more, but...
Hey, you deals.
Okay, fine. Jeff Lewis says, Sally Field's children are estranged from her, so she tries to dress up as an old man to get close to her grandchildren, and is arrested as a paedophile immediately. A realistic take on the film.
I mean, fair, yeah.
Okay, so Mike Silver has written us a real yarn, so I need you to get comfortable for this one.
Alright, wait a sec.
You good?
Yep.
Cool, you comfortable?
Yep.
Great, okay. In the months following the events of the first film, Daniel Hillard found it surprisingly difficult to untether himself from his adopted persona. Or perhaps surprisingly natural to let her linger on in the hazy corners of his life. It seemed cruel, unthinkable, to outright murder the grandmotherly presence that had reconciled his broken family and resuscitated his floundering career.
That's a good point, to be honest.
Yeah. His family found it all harmless enough in the beginning, endearing almost. The odd slip into her warm Scottish brogue, the charmingly slapstick symptoms of her sympathetic menopause. The children were content to play with their father come elderly caretaker at what they assumed was some manner of extended game, and Miranda was happy that they were happy. For a time, all was well. But she pushed out the corners before long. After a year, the occasional hint of accent gave way to a compulsive barrage of Scottish-sounding gibberish. After 18 months, the hot flashes developed into a severe case of type 2 diabetes and osteoporosis, no less debilitating for being imagined. Where the children had once played in the happy fiction of Mrs Doubtfire's loving glow, they now watched in horror as their wheelchair-bound father screamed lilting nonsense at hospital nurses administering elective dialysis. Within 2 years, Daniel Hillard was involuntarily committed to an inpatient mental health treatment facility, diagnosed with acute dissociative identity disorder and attendant Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Early in his confinement, Daniel's occasional feints at lucidity would raise his family's spirits, and the doctors grew hopeful that he might fully recover in time. But then the moments of clarity grew fewer and farther between, until finally it was clear that Daniel would never be Daniel again. He would always be her. The children stopped visiting. Mrs Doubtfire arrived those many years ago in the clothing of a saviour. Now she haunts the Hillards' lives, a malevolent spectre ever tightening her icy grasp on their father. Daniel Hillard was last seen in 2015, sedated and restrained to a gurney, dreamily recounting memories from the Highland childhood he never had, in a Gaelic-inflected language known only to him. Finn.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
That was dark. So thanks, Mike. That was a real cheerful one, but just very, very evocative.
Yeah, well, good reading as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, you sounded like the people that do the descriptions for the blind on television.
Yeah, might be a future career path. Yeah. Christopher Sheriff says it's basically the same setup, but the moment he arrives in the Mrs Doubtfire disguise, his ex-wife is like, "This is sick, Daniel. What could you possibly have expected to happen here? What sort of mind would even conceive of this as a valid way to interact with their family? It goes without saying that I'm getting a restraining order, and I hope you get help. I really do. But if you come near the kids or me again, I'm calling the police. I swear to Christ." So
I think that's a bit too extreme.
It's a bit of a dark reaction.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris.
He just loves his kids.
He does. Yeah. Okay.
John, he doesn't mean any harm to anybody.
Well, clearly you've got a more sympathetic take on this than Christopher does. John Kovaleski says, a movie for the Christian market, Mrs. Doubts God's existence. Why did I do that? At whydidI_pod. After the show is aired and the story is revealed, criminals start using the Mrs. Doubtfire disguise to rob houses.
Oh, excellent idea.
But when an unsuspecting robber picks the wrong house, it all goes wrong in Mrs. Doubtfire 2, Home Alone.
Mrs. Doubtfire 2, The Purge.
Oh man, yeah. False Starts Podcast, at False Starts Pod, said, San Francisco, the 90s. The Yakuza run rampant across the city. Their drug trade runs freely. A gang war looms and... Yakuza.
Yeah.
Thank you. The Yakuza runs freely. A gang war looms and the police can do nothing. Daniel, having violated his court order to only see his children on Saturdays, spends his days in community service. Every undercover officer the SFPD have sent to infiltrate the Yakuza has wound up in a body bag. Yakuza. Every undercover officer the SFPD have sent to infiltrate the Yakuza.
Yeah.
The Yakuza has wound up in a body bag. No one can get close. That is, until the Yakuza post an advert in the local paper. Wanted, cleaning lady, definitely not for the Yakuza. HQ must be discreet. The police have only one option: Euphegenia Doubtfire. So I'm guessing that is a long way of saying that this is Mrs. Doubtfire joining the Yakuza in the 90s.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you not mean the Yakuza?
I think it's the Yakuza, you'll find out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm a stickler for imitation. Okay, just a couple more. Blokebusters, at Blokebusters, said, you know what I'd like to see? Imagine a mockumentary about the character of Mrs. Doubtfire, as in the show he gets at the end of the film, with talking head interviews from the family in the style of Would You Be My Neighbour? So I guess it's like Behind the Music, but for the Mrs. Doubtfire show, with all the family talking about where the idea came from, and that could work. That could be fun. Yeah. And it's titled Euphegenia's Casa est su casa, Thus, all of the old cast comes back together, and we hear how the show and the character became a household staple of America, and the impact it had on theirs and many other people's lives. That's nice. Sweet. Cool.
Kind of like a forgotten silver mockumentary type thing.
Yeah. At one Aussie nerd said, 5 minutes after the movie ends, Daniel is arrested for all the horrible crimes he committed, and it's a crossover with Law & Order SVU. So his crimes come together and add up to 50 years in prison and a $50,000 fine, all because he couldn't wait 3 months to see his damn kids. Dun-dun. Dun-dun. At Death by Film Pod said, Daniel's new show success finds him with a new love, but he is giving her the runaround, hiding the fact that she originally met him when he was dressed as Mr. Daniel's new show success finds him with a new love, but he is giving her the runaround, hiding the fact that she originally met him dressed as Mr. Doubtfire. So I guess he's found a boy persona that he's playing as well, but not himself. Maybe?
I mean, it's easy to miss an S off of Mrs. Doubtfire.
No, I'm pretty sure dressed as Mr. Doubtfire. Yeah, unless it is just a lesbian story, but...
Yeah.
No, I think it might...
Or does, Mrs. Doubtfire fall in love with a lesbian who loves her in return, but how does she tell him that she's a man?
Maybe. I'm going to get back to Death by Film Pod and ask for clarification on this one. But thank you, guys. 2 more. At cinema_recall said, after Mrs. Doubtfire's show gets cancelled, Daniel's persona is taken over by Doubtfire, who vows to get revenge by posing as a nanny to the head producer, which turns out is Jack from Fight Club.
Oh.
Soon Tyler Durden appears and the battle of the 2 personalities begins.
I was about to say, I was wondering why no one's done multiple personality disorder in any point of this. Let's do a split or something.
Number 1 rerun, at number 1 rerun, said, Natalie, the youngest child, I guess that's Maura Wilson, achieves her dreams... Matilda, yeah, we're just going to call her Matilda. Finds her dreams of being a football coach are ruined when she is constantly compared to her older brother Chris, who has made that his career. She invents the character of Mr. Doubtfire as Chris's long-lost brother from Scotland and wins the job and in life. The end.
Sounds good. Yeah. I've got one from Aaron Spite. I think your name's pronounced, I'm not sure.
Aaron Spite.
The youngest daughter, so Matilda, is all grown up, but had to give up her kid because she had them too young. I guess that's... Yeah.
Is that it?
No.
That's not against the law.
Well, I mean, if she was 12.
Yeah, but you don't have to give them up.
No, true.
She discovers that they've been adopted by a wealthy family who, by chance, are hiring a butler. She dresses as a man, hilarity ensues.
Okay.
Austin Cummins says Robin Williams is recruited as Mrs. Doubtfire into the IMF for Mission Impossible.
Okay.
So, similar to mine, go into spies.
Yeah, sure. I'm just imagining Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, but one of his disguises is Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire takes the blame for a crime and goes to a female prison to get out of going to a man's prison because they thought it would be easier. Turns out they were wrong.
Is that...
They stole my idea.
Does he end up in Orange is the New Black?
And that's where I'm thinking it's going. Yeah. He witnesses a murder and has to go into hiding by pretending to be a nun. While in hiding, he revamps the choir, brings new life to the neighbourhood and church.
Okay.
Which doesn't sit well with the Mother Superior of the convent.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, he's found by the mob boss, who he saw commit the crime, and gets kidnapped. But, after having the truth revealed by the Mother Superior, all the nuns come and save him at the casino where he used to work in Reno, Nevada. They make it back to the convent just in time for their concert for Pope John Paul II. I call it Mrs. Doubtfire 2, a sister act.
Nice. I prefer Mrs. Doubtfire 2 back in the
habit. Yeah, come on, man.
It writes itself.
Come on, Robert L. Kelly. Where are you playing at? And I've got one more.
Okay.
From Jason Croxon, who guested on our Knight's Tale episode.
Yes. A conversation with, yeah?
Yes. I just wanted to read this out because it is essentially exactly the idea that me and my friend Ben came up with.
Okay.
He's come up with it independently. So, can you just have that his life took a similar arc? Example, married, wife won't let him see... Oh, sorry, this is Pierce Brosnan.
Sure.
He got married, but wife won't let him see in the kids. Then he remembers the first movie and basically does the same thing. Only not successfully because he's not an actor, so his wife and family just humour him, imagining he has a mental breakdown.
Very good. Very good.
Kindred spirit there for you.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Okay, well, thanks, guys. Those were our listener submissions for Mrs. Doubtfire. If you have any sequel ideas for Mrs. Doubtfire or any films we've done in the past, please let us know. We are Beyond the Box Set. You can find us at beyondtheboxset.com. Our podcast is available on all good podcasting platforms, including iTunes, Stitcher, Acast, Google Play, and Spotify. You can also contact us on social media at Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Just search Beyond the Box Set or at Beyond the Box Set for Twitter. And we have a Patreon page at patreon.com/Beyond the Box Set. And you can also find merchandise exclusively on tpublic.com/Beyond the Box Set. Next week
we are doing a crossover episode. So I run another podcast called Two Geeks, Two Movies.
Boo.
And so we're doing a crossover episode where, Ross is going to come on this show. And
Ross, your co-host.
My co-host, my other co-host. And John, this co-host, is going to come on Two Geeks, Two Movies to make it 3 Geeks, 3 Movies.
Yes.
So on that podcast, we're going to do Treasure Island, the original-ish Disney version.
The 1950s Disney.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Then we're going to do a Muppet Treasure Island, and then we're going to do Treasure Planet. Compare those 3 movies, see what similarities they have. Probably quite a few, let's be honest.
It's the same story.
And then Ross is going to come on here, and we're going to do Pulp Fiction. So,
Pulp Fiction, yeah.
Yeah, please tune in next Friday for Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, yeah. That's good. We've done a good run of iconic films.
We have, yeah.
We've had Big Lebowski, Mrs Doubtfire, Pulp Fiction. That's 3 big hitters.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, yeah. Well, thank you, Lauren, for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Is there anything you'd like to plug while you're here?
No.
No, nothing?
I tried before and it
True,
failed.
yeah, fair enough. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, well, thank you for joining.
America?
No,
Accents?
don't go.
Why do you think she's here?
Trump or Brexit? Let's go to Europe.
Okay, well, thank you, Lauren, very much. And thank you, Harry. And thank you, listeners.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Yeah, no one's ever said that. Thank you.
I know, because your co-host Harry.
I know.
I'm never nice to anybody.
I'm a glunt.
I'm agreeing with you.
I don't know why anybody expects it of me.
We don't.
I've never tried to set that standard.
Anyway, so yes, thank you for listening, and join us next week for Pulp Fiction. Bye.
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 The whole time you would. The whole time